All right, welcome back. It is the Vegas Take. Sharp and Shapiro. Glad you could join us. Let's get a little fired up here with these Otto Warmbier comments that Donald Trump made at the summit earlier this morning. Just beyond disgraceful, and it's even more disgraceful that people are defending it. Since when did we have to bow down as a country to evil, murderous dictators? Since when? Oh, yeah, and by the way, we're learning today Jared Kushner's clearance that Donald Trump pushed for. John Kelly, Don McGahn, and U.S. intelligence all had concerns, didn't want him to get clearance, but Trump pushed for it anyway. That's great leadership, isn't it? I'd love to hear your defense on that. 257-5396, the number to call. Let's start with Pam, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Pam, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Hi, Brian. Good to talk to you again.
Thank you. Good to hear from you, Pam. What's on your mind?
Well, I'll tell you, I'll probably get a lot of hate for this, but it's been said so many times. Donald Trump is a sociopathic, malignant narcissist.
Agree.
Without the compassion for human empathy. Mm-hmm. And I was going to bring up, but you already brought up Putin, how he defended him.
Yeah.
And then he defended MBS from Saudi Arabia over Khashoggi's dismemberment.
Agree.
And now,
very good point. I'm glad you brought that up.
You know, him defending this, it's the nature of the beast, I guess.
It really is, Pam.
But I don't believe for a minute that there is one thing that goes on in North Korea that Kim doesn't have his finger on the pulse of. I mean, look at how many of his own people are in prison work camps just for farting out of tune.
And you know what? You're right. And the guy killed his own brother, Pam. It's so disgraceful.
And didn't he kill an uncle also?
Yeah. I mean, it's so disgusting. And, you know, people to call up to compare this poor kid who took down a poster, you know, to compare that to killing someone in a DUI crash. Oh, and by the way, if you did kill somebody in a DUI crash, you wouldn't. Last I checked, you wouldn't be brain dead. They wouldn't make you into a vegetable and then send you back to your family. Pam,
oh no, you'd get a little prison time and then you'd be back home. Yeah. And I feel so terrible for Otto's parents.
So do I.
They're going through enough, and now Trump just twisted the knife and poured salt in the wound.
Pam, great call. I could not agree with you more. It's nice to have somebody logical call in that is not biased. 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Ken. Ken, thanks for calling in. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Doing good, Ken. What's on your mind?
Well, I was listening to your comments and stuff like that, and everybody's comments, and, you know, this stuff with North Korea, it's a process. You know, when they dealt with Gorbachev and, you know, with Reagan and all that, that was a 10-year process.
I don't disagree.
Everybody thinks that, everything's going to get done right away.
Never said that. Never said that.
Give and take.
There's
give and take.
Yes, I understand that, and I never said it was an overnight process. I never said it would happen immediately. In fact, I didn't even criticize Donald Trump for not signing off this morning. I don't have a problem with that at all. As far as the denuclearization stuff goes, he said a year and a half ago that North Korea was not a threat to this country when Pompeo said the absolute opposite. It's not true.
Yeah, they've been trying for 30-plus years, you know, to come to the table with when his father was in charge.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you, Ken. I don't know what I said that would make you think otherwise.
No, but my point is it's always going to be, they're always going to try and take more than what they're, allotted, so to say, and they've done it for the last 3 times. But
I mean, I think you're yeah, go ahead.
The problem is before we came in there all pompous, we're the Americas, we don't have to listen to you and stuff like that. He's sitting down and trying to listen.
They're a Ken,
nation.
I'm just trying to understand why you're speaking everything that any logical person would say. I do not disagree with you. When did I say? I'm just so confused, Ken. Where did I say in this first segment that I didn't want him sitting down with Kim Jong Un and negotiating? Where did I criticize him? Have I criticized him for not signing off this morning? Where are you getting this? I never said that.
But do you go in there? Do you go in there all hot-headed? And
I didn't say that. When did I say that? You go in there hot-headed. A buffoon would say something like that. Ken, with all due respect, I don't know where I'm criticizing him for the Otto Warmbier stuff. What are you talking about? I don't understand it. Guys, follow with me here, okay? I'm going to speak very slowly and distinctly for some of you Donald Trump supporters out there, the ones that he said if he shot somebody on 51st Street, you would vote for him. Yeah, I'm talking to you guys. I'm going to speak very slowly like you would talk to a dog, okay? So pay attention and you might understand, okay? I am criticizing him for the comments he made in regards to Otto Warmbier, okay? In regards to him saying that he doesn't know, that Kim didn't know anything about it, and he's going to take him for his word for it, and that Kim felt very badly about it. That is what I am criticizing him for, along with the fact that several times in the last 2 years, he says that North Korea is not a threat to this country. That is not true, according to Mr. Pompeo. That is what I am criticizing him for. What am I not criticizing him for? Not signing off this morning. What am I not criticizing him for? For negotiating with Kim Jong Un. I don't think that's a bad thing. Do we get that now? Do we understand, some of you Trump supporters out there? Maybe sometimes it's difficult for you to listen, okay? Let's go to Jay. Jay, thanks for calling into the Vegas Take. How are you, Jay?
I'm doing great. Am I talking to Bill Crystal or which one of the neocons am I talking to?
A neocon?
With half a brain, yeah.
Okay, so hold on. So you start off the conversation by calling me a neocon, and now I have a half a brain. Why don't you give me an example why I'm a neocon? What have I ever said in this show that would make you think that I'm a neocon? And I want a specific example, because if you're going to call the show and call me a name, you better have something right away.
All right. Well, I just want you guests to know as soon as I start talking, you're going to cut me off. So
give me an example. You just called me two names. I didn't call you a name. Give me an example.
Yes, your criticism
of what? Be specific.
Vladimir Putin and the contradictions that your party brings up.
Excuse me. Okay, goodbye. Goodbye. I'm not a Democrat, you idiot. Your party. You're a moron. I gave you a chance. You called me a couple names, and then you said something stupid. I'm not a member of the Democratic Party, you buffoon. You want me to defend Donald Trump? You guys got to stop laughing. You guys, my producer and my co-host are loud. You're going to start making me laugh. That guy was an idiot. What do you want me to say? Put my co-host has graced us with his presence. Thank you for showing up. Thank you. I'm not a member of a party, you jerk.
If he's listened to this show for an extended period of time, he definitely knows that.
Oh,
please. You say that probably 4 times a week.
If he's gonna start the conversation and call me a bunch of names, you better have something specific. What did he call me?
He called you a neocon.
Speaking of neos, what about when the neo-Nazis and Donald Trump said there are good people on both sides? Why don't you bring that up, jerk? Anyway, let's go to Scott. Scott, thanks for calling in. How are you? Don't call me a neo. Don't start off by calling me a neo something, please.
No, I usually just call in and like to talk hoop, but I'm afraid to look. Now, with our guy Otto here, it's horrible. What do you think they did to him? Did they perform some medical experiments?
Yeah, here's what I think, and that is a very, very good question. It's been talked about amongst the intelligence community. Chemicals. They did something chemically to his body so that there was no oxygen sent to his brain. It wasn't anything physical because we would have seen that. From all, the intelligence that we've received, some sort of chemical that they put inside his body, something along those lines, because obviously he was pretty much brain dead, right? He was a vegetable. Even though his eyes were open and he was moving, he was done. And so that's what I've heard.
That's a bad spot, man. That's a bad spot.
It's horrible. It's horrible.
Yeah, and he was a very promising young man.
He was extremely intelligent.
He wasn't stupid.
I guess the only thing I would say, Brian, is you and I don't know each other, and I know you're going to disagree with this, but if we were buddies and I said, hey, Brian, let's go meet me at the corner of East Fremont Street and Boulder Highway at 3 a.m. tonight, and let's hang out, what would you say to that?
Would you have a duffel of money, like a bag of money? Because I might risk it for that.
We're just going to hang out in that part of town.
Normally, are you a hot chick, or is this a date, or are you just some dude that calls into the show?
Make it a hot chick. He says, meet me at the corner of Boulder Highway.
I understand what you're saying, and when I was 16 or 17 or 18 years old, I probably would have said yes. If you told me that now, I would assume you were a hooker.
Yeah, but you shouldn't be there, right?
I agree.
That's not the place you want to be.
Scott, I agree.
What are parents thinking?
Scott.
I mean, if you talk to most guys between 20, like the cooler talk at work, the only thing those guys say is, what the heck was he doing there?
Scott, I agree.
Was he there?
Scott, like the last 2 callers, I agree with you. Obviously, looking back on it, it's a huge mistake, but there are hundreds of thousands of Americans and even college students that have gone to North Korea, and they're not dead. I'm not saying it was a good decision. I'm also not about to say that he deserved what happened to him. I don't think any logical person would say that. Scott, I agree with what you're saying. It was a horrible decision, but not the time right now to criticize the parents. I'm criticizing Donald Trump, Scott, and I hope you can understand that.
Are you guys talking hoop the second hour?
We will call. You can call back. All right, thanks, Scott. 257-5396. I understand what he was saying, but if somebody said meet me on Fremont, what do you say, Fremont and Boulder Highway? I would imagine
at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that'd be a little shady. I still think you'd probably be safer there than North Korea.
Although their limit game would be solid.
Yeah, that's true. Let's go to Brian. Brian, thanks for calling in. How are you?
What's up, Brian?
Well, it's distressing. It really is. There's no way to put lipstick on this. It was a terrible thing for the president to say.
I'm glad to hear you say that, Brian.
And the same situation when he was standing, next to Mr. Putin. He should have made a short statement.
Mm-hmm.
He's got some of the best diplomatic corps in the world.
Yep.
And they are sharp. These guys don't mess around. They're both tough.
He won't listen to them. He won't listen to them.
All he needed to do was say no comment,
So, Brian, can I ask you?
That reporter.
And
Sure.
by the way, I agree, Brian, 110%. What do you think he should have said?
No comment.
I would have been fine with that.
And then what I would have done is I would have had Mr. Pompeo or Mr. Bolton come out and make a statement.
Brian, let me ask you another question. Okay, you're a like-minded guy. We don't always agree, but that's fine. And I by the way, I agree with everything you're saying in this call. Why is it that you think there are so many people on the right that are diehard Trump supporters that can't admit what you just said?
Well, I think it's probably because, as JD stated many times that, he's getting it from all sides. There isn't a day that goes by where,
But this is warranted.
Media,
this isn't
everybody's coming after him. And sometimes he creates it himself.
Right.
Sometimes he doesn't.
Yeah.
Sometimes he deserves it. Sometimes he doesn't.
Right.
I would prefer he say less, not more.
Yeah.
And like I say, refer to my staff. Let them take care of this. Because they would have nailed him.
Brian, I always appreciate it when you call in, and I could not agree with you more. I think that is a logical way of looking at this, and I appreciate the phone call. He does have some intelligent people, a few, around him, and he should have said no comment. I couldn't agree with you more. 257-5396. Let me just say this. We're getting 3 more phone lines.
Did you just call Jared Kushner intelligent?
No, I did not say that. We have 3 phone lines right now. It's a joke. Our phone lines are always full from the start to the end of the show. I promise you we're getting 3 more phone lines. It's going to happen soon. I don't know exactly when, but for those of you who've been calling in and the phone lines are busy, I promise you we're going to get an end to that because as the show gets more popular, we need more phone lines. That's just the bottom line. We do have 1 phone line open now if you want to join the program at 257-5396. Again, 702-257-5396. Chris, you're next. Thanks for calling in, Chris.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
Doing good, man. What's on your mind?
Hey, don't you think it could be some kind of strategic ploy between, him and Pompeo, good cop, bad cop? He says something just to, he wants this thing to work with North Korea. So he's not going to say too much damaging stuff about Kim Jong Un, even though he...
Valid question.
Probably thinks he's an idiot to begin with, but I'm sure Trump is not an idiot like everyone says. I think it's somewhat of a strategy play.
Well, Chris, I'll respond by saying, yes, I do think our president is an idiot, so we're just going to disagree on that one. I could give you about 1,000 examples. Number 2, I think you're giving Donald Trump way too much credit. I think he's very impulsive, as we've seen. He just says whatever is on his mind, and to me it makes absolutely no sense at all to say you believe an evil, murderous dictator, just like you did with Vladimir Putin. I think history is going to be on my side, Chris. And I'm telling you right now, I mean, this is just, to me, it's just disgraceful. It shows no leadership qualities. When you promise Otto Warmbier's parents, that you're going to find out who did this, and you speak tough on this guy, and then you say, well, I believe him, and he feels really badly about this. I'm sure he feels really badly about the hundreds of thousands of people in his regime that have died under his watch, too. I'm sure he feels really badly about that, too. Just like I'm sure Vladimir Putin feels really badly that he interfered in our elections, right? But Donald Trump believes him. 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Dave. Dave, thanks for calling in. How are you, Dave?
Great, gentlemen. Good to talk to you again. Long-time listener, third-time caller, 2 times to you, and 1 time to the plant expert about 14 years ago with my funny years cactus fungus, but I digress.
Okay.
I got to say, Brian, anyone who listens to your show cannot – how could they call you a Caballero Nuevo Conservador, because, my friend, you are not.
Well, you know what? I'm not. I'm not a fan of politics.
Get that out of there,
well, no, that's cool. That's fine.
You with a neocon just cracks me up.
That was a little funny. Well, Dave, can I just speak honestly, as I always do on this show? I've never said anything on this show that I do not believe. Unlike a lot of other talk show hosts, I won't name them, but there's a lot of hosts that just say things.
You just got to name them, Brian. Yeah. Don't be afraid.
No, well,
just do it.
No, I'm not going to do that for obvious reasons that I think you know. So I don't know why you would say that. But with that being said, Dave, I'm not a Republican. I'm not a Democrat. Some people think just because I criticize Donald Trump, I must be a liberal, and I hate it when people label people. The two worst words in this country are Republican and Democrat, because too many people make up decisions based on what party they're in rather than what is good for the country, Dave.
I agree 100%, and that I think will make good radio for you guys. And JD, are you up for another tardy slip today, or you just come in later?
He just strolls in the middle of the show.
I just popped on in. Yeah. It will not be occurring very much in the near future. I've had a lot of. That's probably an aggressive statement, but I've had a lot of things I've had to take care of. We'll just put it that way.
In the last 3 weeks, I think you've shown up. On time wouldn't be at 6:05 p.m. Yeah, once. Our producer. Let's put Ken. Ken, I want you to go on the air with us right now as our producer. I respect your opinion, your non-biased opinion. In the last 3 weeks, how many times do you think J.D. Sharp has been on time?
In the times that I've been here, I remember once.
I think he's right. Thank you, Ken. Go ahead, Dave. You're still on the line.
Yeah, no problem. I was just going to say, Brian, I totally agree with you tonight. I did vote for the president. There's a lot of things he does that I like. I am not a Republican. I will not defend comments like that. It just wasn't right. I wish he could take it back or just not do this stuff in the future. And as far as that goes, I think you're spot on.
I appreciate that, Dave. The check is in the mail, my friend. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, you guys. Have a
All right, Dave.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Dave.
it. All right. 257-5396, the number to call, 702-257-5396.
So I've got something surprising to tell you. I've been very, very critical of Ocasio-Cortez and a lot of things that she said, but I think that the way that she set up Donald Trump yesterday, or 2 days ago at that hearing, was extremely impressive. And I think that she's been playing dumb, making over-the-top, ridiculous statements.
You mean Cohen? The way she set up Cohen?
No, yes, the way she set up Cohen, but to get Donald Trump's tax returns.
Oh, okay.
By saying, hey, do you think that he's committed, that he's inflated the amount of his assets for insurance purposes? And, I mean, that's probably going to get Trump to turn over his tax returns.
I don't think he will.
And I think that she is making very, very aggressive, over-the-top statements to grab people's attention, but she's actually not stupid. And I would not be shocked if Hillary declares to run for president in 2020.
No, she's not.
And puts Cortez as her VP on her ticket.
I have to.
I would not be shocked by that at all.
I would have to disagree with you completely. There's no chance Hillary's ever going to run for president again. That ship has sailed, my friend. Boy, that would be really tough for me to vote for her. But at this point, with this jackass,
yeah, what would you do if you had Clinton Cortez against Trump Pence in 2020?
I would vote for Clinton Cortez.
You would vote for Clinton Cortez.
And I did not vote for Clinton 2 years ago, and I was very, I'm not a Hillary Clinton supporter.
And I do think if that actually took place, they might have a shot. Well, I've heard that I always pronounce her first name, Kamala Harris, would run with Joe Biden, and I think they would have a shot as well. But I am not predicting the election, because I predicted the election several years ago, and I said Donald Trump has absolutely no chance, and I was wrong just like many others. Let's go back to the phones at 257-5396, 702-257-5396. Let's go to Seth. Seth, thanks for calling in. How are you, Seth? What's up, Seth?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing?
Doing good. What's on your mind?
Yeah, so I called in last week, and I made the comment about how I think that Trump was being either blackmailed or whatever you call it, extorted by Stormy Daniels, and you said I was stupid, blah blah blah.
I don't remember. I don't remember that conversation. But usually, when I call people stupid, not all the time, but I'd say 99 out of 100 times, usually I'm right.
Well, anyways, you did. So
okay.
Now during the testimony, Cohen said, I wrote it down word for word what he said. He said, "I give you the $130,000 check written by me to Miss Daniels that was demanded by Miss Daniels to keep her silence about the affair." Now, that to me sounds like blackmail or extortion. And now I don't know why the story isn't.
Can you explain to me then why Donald Trump sent several different payments and checks to Michael Cohen if he was extorted? Can you please explain that?
Because Cohen's the one that paid.
Uh-huh. And why would Donald Trump pay him if he was being extorted? Can you please explain?
Because he didn't want the whole point of the blackmail extortion is so the story doesn't get out to the public.
So you're telling me that the person that was extorted here was Donald Trump. He bangs a porn star months after his wife had.
Whoa! He's
what?
Accused of.
Okay, you're right. I'm sure he just gives out $130,000 to anybody a week before the election. Seth, you're absolutely right.
Seth, I'm a big Trump guy, but I think he banged that porn star.
Yeah.
Don't hang up.
Go ahead, Seth.
Cohen also admitted that Trump had paid for stories that they knew not to be true, just because it was easier to pay it off than it was to.
So Seth, let's just review here. So you're telling me not only do you think, in regards to Stormy Daniels, not only do you think that Donald Trump was the one that's extorted, but he paid not for sex, but for stories. Is that what you're telling me? And you don't want me to call you stupid on the air? Are you serious?
So someone could demand money to not tell a story, and that's not extortion?
You know what? I mean, Seth, I'm keeping you on the line because you're making yourself sound completely ridiculous, and it's actually quite entertaining.
What about that is ridiculous? What about what I said is ridiculous?
I'm asking you a very simple question. You mean to tell me? No, hold on. Let's. No, you're right. I'm sure you're right. Trump was extorted. He's the victim here. So you mean to tell me that after all the things that Stormy Daniels has said, there's been no counter lawsuit, no defamation lawsuit. Donald Trump uses the courts as something fun. He sues everybody. There has been no lawsuit, nothing along those lines that he won. And you mean to tell me that you think Donald Trump is the one that was extorted here, and that Stormy Daniels is the liar?
For what, though?
So Donald Trump is. So let's just be clear here. Stormy Daniels is the liar. She made everything up, and Donald Trump is telling the truth. Is that what you're telling me, Seth?
Donald Trump's telling the truth about what?
What do you mean? What we're talking about? The whole thing.
He said he never slept with her.
So you believe him, and you think Stormy made the whole thing up. There was no sex. Is that what you're telling me?
They both have a reason to lie. Stormy's got a reason to lie.
That's not what I asked you. You're telling me that Stormy made everything up. There was no sex. Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to tell you something, Seth. If you look up the word stupid in the dictionary, your face is right next to it. What do you think about that? Have a nice day. Just the most ridiculous comment I've ever heard in my life. It's just unbelievable. There you go, Seth. I called you stupid twice. Oh, God. That is just so ridiculous. JD, you don't believe what Seth said. Please tell me you don't believe that.
I'll tell you this, man. Michael Cohen's $35,000 checks are not a surprise to me because he is a lawyer. He was a lawyer of several very, very successful rich people, and lawyers of rich people get big checks. Now, were they guaranteed to be from Stormy Daniels? No, you can't prove that.
Yeah. Well, we'll continue this conversation a little bit coming back. Mike Babcock from TMZ Sports going to be joining us as well. We'll take a quick break. I'll be back right after this. Oh, yeah, what's going on in Craftgate? That coming up. You are listening to the Vegas Take. Be back right after this.